Yeah.
Ready?
So yeah, it's time for possible world annihilation, and so we should probably let's head over to Nord's game.
So we have roles set up here, because Hazzie's not as into grand strategy games as I am.
Other than like CK3, it's not that it's not for not wanting to be into them. I feel like I take a little while.
You're getting to it.
I'm getting to it.
So she's going to be our director of the space program.
Okay.
For this.
Okay.
So she will make all the decisions related to space and will advise me when I need to make sure to set up enough points.
Which, by the way, y'all, there is also PvP in this. So I guess y'all can play against each other. And if I can like learn this game get a little bit better at this game, I told Nord that we should do like a versus each other on this because I think it would be hilarious.
As soon as I told him I beat it, he's like, "Yeah, now you're ready for PvP," and I'm like, "What are you trying to talk me into?"
You can play against me, and then till I can kick your butt, but but I'm pretty sure you'll have me on it, and I promise I won't flip a computer when that happens.
I'll look down and like, why is my mouse unplugged?
Thank you so much for the lurk, Thorn. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
At least you are entertaining us while we work. Well, thank you, Yami. I appreciate that.
Yes, Terminal Thursdays. You can play against the developers.
Oh my gosh, really? Okay, I can't.
I will be considering it. I am normally a co-op person. I really like playing together.
Yeah, we usually play cooperatively because we don't like either one of us going to bed mad at the other.
I had a really bad experience with my brother in PvP when I was younger, and he kept doing horrible things after that.
Yeah.
And so I just try to not get that personal.
Yeah.
Anyways.
The last game was like 40 minutes and it ended badly. Oh, God.
Strategy Mill. That is good. We are working hard on making onboarding even smoother as an experience. So it's awesome to get your feedback, even as a non-strategy player. Well, she does play a lot of turn-based strategy, just not grand strategy.
But I did play 130 something hours of CK3, but that's because I don't know what happened to me. I found out I like to
as soon as you're able to be a leader
and
be
backstab people.
Because it's
I
so
hate
RPG.
saying that, but it's very RPG.
And it's getting more RPG. Anyways.
Okay, let's jump in. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it, y'all.
So, as this is going to be somewhat new of an experience to you, we're going to be doing the USA Grand Campaign. And I'll be in command of the military.
Okay.
Be in command of
the space program. Okay.
All right. So this also gives, for those who aren't familiar with the game, this is a chance to be able to learn more about it. So I'm going to go ahead and narrate this. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. The United States stands at this time at the pinnacle of world power, pursued by other powers. It is the courage to continue that counts. Initiate. Welcome. To promote the orderly transfer of the executive power of the office of the President of the United States, the General Services Administration provides this mandatory mental fitness exercise. Oh God, I'm not mentally fit, but we'll try to work with it. So there's a number of ways to win here, and it's going to go over the victory conditions. Victory points are accessible by selecting the top menu. Gain 100 victory points more than your opponent, or in the case of a nuclear apocalypse, this condition must be attained for victory. Survive until the end of 1991. That's a mutual fulfillment result in a minor victory for
what
the
does
sides.
The date start at?
The date starts in 1946.
Ooh, that's a lot of time.
It
that's
does.
a lot of time.
It covers a serious time frame. Last time I did this, I was trying to go for a space race victory.
Yeah.
And I ended up winning because the Soviet Union kept bringing tanks in, and I was just like, "This is
okay.
I'm gonna bomb them. I'm gonna bomb them."
Okay.
Like I focused on American air power. Anyways,
let's see if we can survive this, y'all.
But,
That's a long time. That's a long time period.
As you are our space commander here,
I could beat them with the space
the Hazzie Space Force. We're gonna focus
Hazzie Space Force.
Yeah, we're gonna focus on completing the space race. We'll see what happens. Processing the bottom notification text or row allows you to browse the message log history. Try it now. Hey, I succeeded! All right, so we have 3 options. We can issue Executive Order 10694. Order.
I'm gonna try to take this seriously, y'all, but y'all know how my brain works, and Hazzie's always like distracted. So I'm gonna try really hard to focus. So if Nord has to repeat for me, please forgive me, because y'all know how I am.
It'll be fun. So while we're not dealing with Whopper here, we are dealing with Mervyn. So Mervyn says, do not pick this option. You see, usually the first choice is the historical outcome. So Professor Garrison set a security trap here. He is a clever man. And then number 2, Mervyn says, this option is a trick by Professor Garrison. Options can end the turn when selected. And that is exactly what an enemy agent would do. And then last, activate Theater Command. This is fantastic. You do know your way around here. We are going to have so much fun, you and I. So,
well, if you need
yeah.
me, just
we're going to start taking over.
So,
if you're playing on this variation, there is an ability to go ahead and at the top of the screen find out more information about it. There's a encyclopedia of terms and just general helpful information if you get stuck at any point.
Look
in the
at
game.
that, a new weapon.
Entering the atomic age, USA ends World War II with victory. A light that rivals the sun, then a giant ball of fire as from the bowels of the earth, belching forth an unimaginable bang. A sharply purple pillar of flame 10,000 feet high and shooting skywards with enormous speed, becoming even more alive as it climbed, obliterating the weather like a hand erases chalk on a board. It was alive, a new species of being, born right before our incredulous eyes, a mushroom cloud totem pole, carved with grotesque faces, all grimacing at humankind. The living world would come to envy the dead. So, that is... I know there's multiple options in this, but you know how, like, we never do an evil playthrough first time in RPGs?
Yeah.
I feel like the evil playthrough is winning with nuke. So,
so we're gonna try not to use
I will
nukes.
look at it at some point later, but I just feel too bad doing it. Like
using nukes, okay.
Yeah, it just.
Like, okay.
And also,
we're gonna try not to
philosophically,
nuke the world.
I don't think it's truly a win.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, because as soon as you use nukes,
like,
yeah, but as soon as you use nukes, it's like
there's just so much loss.
Yeah.
But it's an option. It's an option.
option.
So it's nice to know that the options are there.
Okay.
All right.
Just don't lose your temper and then be like, nuke.
Yeah. Epic! We're done! Howdy, stranger. If things have gone south, you're reading this and Mervyn has survived. We have talked long enough in this country about nuclear weapons. It's time to write the next chapter in the book of international law and eliminate every trace of this evil. I can agree there. My lord, for that terrible moment and what comes after, I reckon to envy the dead already. The hard part is, now, it is all up to you. Enact policies. Well, all up to us. Enact policies and reconnect any missing departments. Find a way before it's too late. Goodbye and good luck. All right, so first off, it's highlighting that we should select some policies. Okay. Here's the current situation in Western Europe.
Okay.
So policies are goals for you and your opponent to gain powerful effects. So remember how there was a stuff at the bottom that you wanted to increase or decrease? To review their respective achievement conditions, hover or press plus hold 2 seconds on their icons. Select them in the policy menu to view the benefits they provide and enact them. So, first thing first, we're going to reconnect to the Department of Defense. Don't do this in real life, folks.
I feel like it's so funny because I feel like we're like some office underground where only like maybe the FBI knows about, and we're on a computer in there. We're making these. That's what I feel like right now.
Just be careful if you have a big gulp and you're walking out of a 7-Eleven or something similar later. Yeah. you might get taken in. All right, there we go. We reconnected with the Department of Defense. We're gonna have some control. All right, so we've completed that, and go ahead. This is showing the Doomsday Clock. The Doomsday Clock is very important for this game.
Okay.
Visible at the top of the screen, hostile actions against enemy-controlled regions will increase Doomsday by 1. But against enemy-dominated regions, it is maxed, regardless of the previous value. So if it's in an enemy-dominated region, it could be 1, and it'll go all the way to max.
Okay.
So it's very important. Doomsday Clock ranges from 10 minutes to midnight to 0. If
So it's kind of like the clock in war games that they had.
Like, the general
or the
DEFCON,
the DEFCON stuff. Yeah.
defense condition.
Yeah, like 1 is a no, right? Is it 1 that's a no? Yeah. 5 is like there's no real.
5 is peace, and 1 is things are bad.
Yeah.
There's a group that puts out a like this time till midnight. Like we're like a couple of seconds of how fuck the world is right now. But hey, let's forget about that and go into a game where the world is messed up.
We gotta focus, Nord.
Yeah. All right. If at any time this clock is maxed, either side may launch their nuclear arsenal. So if it gets maxed, it can go. It can do that. So we have some policies in Western Europe that we can look at.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the first one available here, the Marshall Plan. So we can spend 2 finance and 2 people and 1 government and gain 8 influence in the Western Europe region. It's restricted to areas without the USSR presence.
Okay, so I don't remember. You may have said this earlier. Can you win with influence? What do you do with influence? Like, can you win with influence, or?
It gives us more ability to act in them.
Okay.
So, like, if you have no influence, you can't or you can't deploy them.
So it's want to have more influence, probably closer to your. Are we to your enemy then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, like, you're going to have more success with espionage operations.
Okay.
In areas that you have more influence.
Okay.
So if the enemy side has max influence, like, I want to see what's going on over there. Good luck. Good luck. Probably not going to work out very well. So what we're going to go ahead and do. All right. So we go ahead. So we went ahead with Marshall. And here's a little bit of what takes place with it.
Okay.
So from General Curtis LeMay, Strategic Air Command, we need to consider the order when enacting policies to maximize U.S. gains and maintain superiority in influence and military reach. We have 3 choices. This is from a speech that he actually did. Give in and become communist. Actually okay with that, but let's forget about it. A choice intolerable to me and many other people in this country. Whatever. All-out convention.
I love that you said that. Okay.
All-out conventional war, preferably an offensive one with superiority in air power. At least he's focused on like what it is the strength of the United States. Or number 3, build our strength over time to such a point that it would be impossible for the USSR to attack us. The latter being the most attractive for me. Fear is deterrence. So what ended up happening here in this portion of the Cold War is emotions stoked being at their highest levels. It's kind of terrifying that it was such a psychological call.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's fine. We're gonna go with it.
This is fine. Fine, y'all.
So, listening to Mervyn talk about
elites, military, and government. Ever tried getting your wealthy, stingy uncle, your caring pacifist aunt, and your gun enthusiast cousin to agree on a shopping list?
No.
Indulge too much in one's interest.
That's actually
the
not
others will
happened.
be left steaming.
But I get what you're saying.
But it does make sense. All right, so we started out with fairly high finance. We spent some of it on the Marshall Plan there. So now we're currently at 6. The USSR is at 1. So we got money, they broke.
They broke.
For people, we're at 4, they're at 2. For elites, we're at 2 while they're at 8. So they really got that covered on.
Okay.
For military, we're at 4, they're at 7. Once again,
They're at 7?
yeah, they're pretty
That
superior.
seems like not good for us.
That's not good for us. And then on government, they're really ahead. We have 1, and they have 7. So our strength is in our finance, and to some degree, our people and military. Their strength is in their elites, military,
Can we
and government.
use our finance to get
Other things?
Well, we need a military because, like, that worries me. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like,
Well,
I'm just like,
we already have existing things. This is just the level
Okay.
that of stuff that we can spend,
mm-hmm.
and how much power they have.
Okay.
So like I messed around with it at one point
Yeah.
to just see what would happen if you don't listen to the tooltips.
Yeah.
And I had max finance, and for several turns I didn't take care of it, and then I lost the game because in this crazy alternative world, financial interests controlled the United States.
You don't say.
Good thing nothing like that has ever
you don't
happened.
Say. I don't...
Anyways, so now that we've proceeded with that, we can actually see the world map.
Okay.
So you can see where we're at our strongest, North America, big shocker. And we have a decent influence in Western Europe. Decent.
Okay, and then, but is the orange, that's our...
This is the
This
Soviet
is our...
Union. Yes. They have extreme influence everywhere here except for West Berlin and then the Aleutian Islands. But they do have a ship there. So what we just did by enacting the Marshall Plan is we increased our influence in a lot of these areas.
Okay.
So we're going to go back and take a look at the other policies. So we can found NATO. Founding of NATO set all USA-controlled regions in Western Europe to USA-dominated. So we can take these places like Svalbard, and all that, and actually make them dominated. Which
that's what we probably do.
Previously, I did focus a lot on the Northeast Passage. I'm not sure. I mean, you can clarify, folks, if it was because the game was developed in the Nordic area that this was given such focus, because you very rarely hear much about the Northeast Passage here in the United States, but it was very significant in its importance during the Cold War, because without like...
I didn't know that. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm glad that you have those details, because I don't have those like details. I wouldn't have.
Well, think about it. Where are ships going to get into or get out of Russia from? So they can, let's go back to Eastern Europe.
Okay, so that makes sense.
They can get out from here, which leads to the Northeast Passage.
Yeah.
They can get out from the Black Sea, but there's a strait controlled here. So Turkey has to give them permission. Gibraltar, owned by the UK, has to give them permission. And the Suez Canal, once again run by the UK basically, has to give permission. Especially at this point in time, this is for decolonization. So you have that, and then if we go on over to the other side, you have the ports at Vladivostok right here.
Okay.
So in general, the Soviet Union was bottled in.
Okay.
And so it was about maintaining that containment they discussed. So I found it pretty cool that they're actually focused on the Northeast Passage so much. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to try to maintain that.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead beforehand. So we are right next to what we know to be a fairly strong force.
Okay.
Right here in East Germany. And at this point in time, World War II had just finished. An incredible military push had taken place where the Soviet Union had come in through here with just a major military force. So we don't want to deal with that.
Strategy Mill said, indeed, strategic choke point, and now that the polar caps are melting, the battlefield of tomorrow. That's why Trump wanted to buy Greenland. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know. I wouldn't even thought about it.
I'm sure Denmark would have been okay. Anyways, like Svalbard up here.
Yeah.
When do Americans ever talk about that? Never. I mean,
how many Americans even know?
Let's be perfectly honest. Like, we only learn geography when we're going to war with a place.
Yeah.
Like, remember that one where they were trying to point out where Iran was on a map?
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of people picked Australia.
Yeah. Sadly, that's. Yeah. I mean.
That's not a strength of our education system.
Yeah.
But the importance of Svalbard in this game, and the passage here, It's really cool that that's been shown. Anyways, we're going to dial back some of our forces in the area. So because I'm going to put them back in our command reserve because they're just in a bad position to begin with.
Okay.
Obviously, it was important to win World War II, but I don't like it right there. We're going to go over to North America, where we have some bombers. I don't plan to. So I am setting a whole bunch of bombers to be able to be used later. We have a lot of fighters covering North America anyways. So let's go back to the policies.
Brandon's another one of our history buff friends.
That's true, Brandon. And he knows more about Florida Man than I ever will.
So we're playing a Cold War era game called A Terminal Conflict today, Brandon. I'm really excited to be showcasing it, so I hope you enjoy it. I know that last time we were talking, we were playing CK3, and I was like, wow, I didn't know, like, Brandon was, like, so into history, and I found that out. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I was
cool.
impressed. Thorn, I was able to tell you where several countries were, but I remember almost none of that info now. Like, Thorn, you and me, same boat. Okay, same boat. I forget too. And I with the Cold War stuff, I can do a general timeline, but I don't know the details, and sometimes I can't even remember how it was like interconnected on certain things. Well, sounds like Darth Vader movie says. And then Thorn says, I mean, I could when I was young.
Yeah. Back when memories worked.
Yeah, when my memory worked and I was young, maybe I could have. But I do remember when I was a kid, history bored me. So I was because it wasn't like when it comes out of textbooks, it's not as interesting. I think that's why I wasn't into history growing up.
Portrayed so much in dates and just the conflicts.
Yeah.
The things that lead up to the conflicts.
Yeah, that's why I like watching like when we watched war games and stuff. Like I can, like it's not historical, but you can kind of get something from it, and then that piques your interest, and then you can look it up and then know something.
Like so much you learn about the Cuban Missile Crisis in the United States leaves out anything having to do with Turkey. Yeah, it's just like, man, those Russians, they got pissed off at us for no reason. We didn't put nukes really close to their border in Turkey. Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like, damn crazy, Ivan.
True, that's true. Thorn, I mean, I could when I was young, and now I forget my glasses on my face. I know what you're talking about.
He falls asleep with hers on.
Yeah, I fall asleep with mine on.
All right, so we're going to found NATO. I could get more out of it if I was to go into some regions with our military.
Okay.
And then boost up to 3.
Yeah.
And then I would be able to take them
hey, Thinking
from
Waffle!
control to dominator.
It's good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. It looks like you are a first-time chatter. Welcome into the Mug Club. How are you?
Thank you. And welcome to your first Friday Eve with us. We look forward to many. All right, so we found it.
Stop calling it Tuesday.
Yes.
You stop calling.
So we found it.
Want to call it Tuesday.
We founded NATO. Now, as you can see, we have USA dominated in a number of these locations. So any conflict that takes place, is going to push our Doomsday Clock all the way to the max. So while we don't have mainland Spain, we got a 2.
So I know you've kind of played this. Do we want to keep the Doomsday Clock as low as possible? Like, we don't want to push it, right? Or is there, like, sometimes strategically you want to push the Doomsday Clock?
Okay, so if you have a larger nuclear stockpile, then the Doomsday Clock isn't as bad.
Okay.
If you are seriously outnumbered on your nuclear stockpile, probably want to keep
how's our
it
nuclear stockpile going?
We have 1 nuke. I'm pretty
so
sure.
We're
I'm pretty sure they have 0.
So Waffle, we are needing to stockpile nukes today. That's how we're doing. We got 1 nuke. Like, I think we're needing to stockpile.
I haven't played as the Soviet Union at this point, but if we're looking at it historically, they haven't developed nuclear weapons yet.
Yeah.
So they should have 0. But it's still a pretty horrible.
SJ Gold said Waffle is also one of the developers. Hey, it's good to meet you, Waffle.
We were talking about some of the things that we really love about the focus that you'd given to the Northeast Passage. Anyway, speaking of that Northeast Passage,
I made some of the content of this mad game. If both sides have lots of nukes, they will likely annihilate each other, meaning that launching the nuke will lead to a mutual defeat. Okay.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
what was the line last night? The
Sometimes in order to win, it's to not play the game.
yeah.
That's what Joshua in War Games said. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of like the moral of the story.
Yeah, you just don't want.
But we're gonna play this game.
Yeah. But the game of
like,
escalating nuclear war in real life.
Yeah,
Just a bad idea.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna escalate something else. So there's a rock paper scissors type component here, where surface fleets can take out subs.
Okay.
Subs can take out carriers, and carriers are just badass. And speaking of badass, we're going to go ahead and we're going to attack this surface fleet here in Svalbard.
Okay.
Let me double check and make sure there aren't any policies that I could do. Oh, actually we can complete Northeast Passage. So we're gonna gain some military MVP.
Okay.
So remember how you were worried about our military? We're gonna gain 1 point in it.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and do that.
Well, I mean, since the other side has 7 and we have 4, that feels like not so good. I don't know.
It is concerning. That's true.
Like, it's like, it's kind of low. I mean, comparatively.
Anyways, you have a number of options. Like, we can make it so that things can move easier with our carrier. We can do air superiority, which is just a basic passive. But we're going to be doing a carrier strike, and we're going to launch it against the surface fleet. So afterwards, they're going to be reorganizing, and we're going to be engaged.
Okay.
So we're not going to be able to reuse them again, but at least we're not as bad off as them.
Okay.
So here we go.
Waffle says the trick is that while launching the nukes, you need to get 100 more VPs than the enemy and get at least 1 territory left.
Yeah. I'll win! So, the USSR succeeded in the in founding the Common Forum, or Comintern, as it's probably more familiar for us. So, we were talking earlier about many
yeah,
but it's kind of funny. So many countries were just kind of caught in the middle on this. You had 2 belligerents, and everybody else just like, hi, we don't want to die.
yeah.
Anyway, so we managed to do that. We have a sub on their side moving in, that came in from northwest Russia here.
Okay.
So they're dealing with stuff. If we attack, this will only deal with 1, I think, right? Yeah, only 1 will be moved to reorganizing. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to...
so that page, I'm just making sure to make... I'm checking that shows you what they're going to do once you... something?
Yes. It's predicted combat
that window? Okay.
Yes. So what we need here, because they're starting to stack up multiple troops, bombers are the only thing I know of, other than like nukes, that can wipe out multiple units. So let's bring some bombers in. That's why we had
bombers sound good.
Why we had added them to our strategic stockpile earlier. Okay. Now, as you see, the negative...
Sounds like AoE, but...
Exactly.
Strategy. It's AoE, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm coming from the perspective of growing up in Spokane with the B-52s.
Yeah.
So it works. Anyways, as you see, there's all these -1s, and then -2, -3. That's how much it's going to cost of our finances. So we're going to go ahead and place it in Iceland at no cost.
Okay. But aren't we good on finances?
Oh, we're good on finances.
Okay.
But we still don't want to be going through it. So, hey.
Strategy Mill said, doing LeMay's bidding after all. Air power!
You got it. I mean, if I'm going to play as US, I'm going to be doing air power. There's a game that came out a number of years ago, Command & Conquer Generals. And you got to play as specific.
Oh,
and
really?
For the Americans, I would always play either the air power general, which was pretty good.
I've never played that game, so like, yeah.
It was like a lot of the other command.
But I'm so new to like these types of games, you know. Well, it's RTS, like I missed out on some of those.
RTS isn't your like cup of tea.
No.
No. But main one I played was a super weapons general.
Yeah.
But hey, if you can't have super weapons, you might as well go with bombers. Anyways, we have a group of 3 of them. They're getting ready for something. I don't want to let them get that something going.
Okay.
So we're gonna go ahead, and if we bomb all 3 of them, we'll be able to force them to reorganize. So I'm going to do that to give us some time and space for being able to bring in more bombers.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do that right now.
I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous.
So right now, we have all the enemy units reorganized. They're not able to do so much. And that gives us an opportunity to bring in another bomber.
Thorn, we're good on finances. I'd like to say that for real life.
Yeah. Well, it's also like how much influence they have.
I think...
So in real life, yeah, the U.S. is somewhere up here. Actually, we're in the middle of...
I think there's a small percentage that are good on finances, even currently. But, like, other people in the United States, maybe not as much.
Well, it's kind of representing who runs your country.
Yeah.
And so, people, that's pretty low.